Hello everyone, my name is Orn and this is my second devlog for my game, From Human. When I was first recording the gameplay for the last devlog, I noticed that when the player shoots a bullet, the speed of the bullet changed depending on how far the cursor was from the player. Surely it's a quick fix, right? No, it's never that easy. I had to spend a few hours figuring out 1, what was going wrong, and 2, how to fix it. In my first devlog, I showed you how I was previously shooting the bullets, and that seemed to be working, but the way I understand it, this is a guess, so feel free to correct me in the comments, I was using this vector which located the cursor position and was multiplying it by the target bullet velocity. This didn't work properly because the vector's values changed depending on how far the cursor was from the player and in which direction it was, so I had to change that. Luckily, I had old code which I also took from CodeMonkey, my goat, which fits perfectly for this case. From my understanding, this new code creates an angle from 0 to 360 degrees based on where the cursor is compared to the player, where 0 degrees is facing to the right of the player. This works so much better, as after using the angle to set the bullet's rotation, I can just shoot the bullet up and it sends it straight to the cursor, whereas before using vectors it worked completely differently in a way that I didn't even understand. I hope that makes sense. I also added firing error, which I made by creating a float variable which represented the degree offset in the circle and got a random number between the float going up and down. This gives us the random error, which I just added onto the angle of the bullet's rotation. This obviously worked first try. Second try. Something that I wanted to add in the first devlog was enemy attack animations. I had them ready, but I couldn't get them to work properly. I wasn't sure how long this was going to take to sort out, so I decided to just leave it for the first devlog, but it turns out it was simple enough. In fact, the system I had previously was even more complicated than it needed to be, so that is now working as intended. Something that I forgot to mention in the first devlog is the fact that there are perks around the map for you to purchase. Currently, I have a perk that allows regeneration, increases your overall health, makes you run faster, and one that has a chance to make it so that when you shoot, your ammunition isn't consumed. These just add a little bit of spice to the gameplay, and right now you can buy all of them, but as I add more, I will limit the amount that you can buy to make it more of a conscious choice based on how you like to play. Now that the cleaning up was finished, I finally began working on something that I wanted for a long time. Something that was a part of my experience at Call of Duty Zombies was the start room challenge. This is a challenge where you just sit in the start room all game, pretty self-explanatory, and you could only use the things available to you in that room. I used to love those challenge runs, and I want to make sort of tribute to it in my game. The idea I came up with is that the game will play like normal for the first few rounds, but if you don't purchase the first door, then the doors will become forcefully shut, stopping you from being able to open them at all. I think I will make an exclusive gun to get for the challenge and a machine too that will allow you to purchase weapons and perks and all of that. For the exclusive gun, I know just the one. I made a gun a while ago which was always more of a gimmick than a proper gun, and I think it'll fit perfect here. I called it the RNG gun because it deals over 2.1 million damage per shot, but it only has a chance of actually dealing damage, and it also has very limited bullets. So if you wanted to, you could one-shot the boss zombie that spawns in the round, but you also might have to use all of your bullets and still not even kill it. It sounds frustrating. It's great. Then I made the door work by creating a manager for the challenge. I connected it to my game manager script, which keeps track of the round count. This allowed me to make it so that if the door is still not open by a certain round, then it will stop the player from being able to open it. I showed this by just making the already spriteless door go from pink to dark grey. This was great progress, but it wasn't even half the battle. Although the machine is a good idea, I think having to stop the gameplay to buy things might just ruin the flow of the round. Another idea that I came up with was every few rounds, let's just say 3, an area will open up. This will pause the round and the player can either enter the area or choose to just wait it out. But if they decide to enter the area, a shop area will open where they can buy guns and perks. Do you guys think this is better? Let me know in the comments. I'm really not sure. Either way, this meant that I needed to redesign the start room to better fit my ideas. This is how it looked before, and I wanted to have an entrance to the shop to be here, and I also wanted to add a caved in entrance to the train station for a bit more immersion. This is what it looked like after all the changes were made. Note that the secret room isn't properly designed just yet. I began work on the system for the shop, and boy did it not want to work. Now this bug was a serious head wreck, because I wasn't sure when it came about and it would cause serious problems. It happened when you shoot a gun while the gun is inside of an enemy, so I believe the issue was that it was not running this line of code in time before the bullet was destroyed, which threw out the error. Turns out it all stemmed from this. I can't begin to understand why this makes a difference. I know that awake is called before start, but I have not been able to find an explanation as to why it makes the line run in time. Either way, it works, and I will take it. So far, I've got the basic system for the shop to open. After the challenge has been activated on the 5th round, it will wait for a round of which is divisible by 3. So 3, 6, 9, and so on, showed by this code here. And then it activates an animation for the door and tells the program that the shop is open. This starts a timer which will keep the door open for a certain amount of time. While the door is open, zombies will not be able to spawn, allowing for a short break for the player. And when the door is shut, zombies will begin spawning again like normal. I will make it so that when you enter the shop, the door stays open and will remain open as long as you're in there, but I've been working on this system for like 5 hours now because of the aforementioned bugs, and I need a mental reset. The next day, I got right back to work. I started by using my usual trigger collider, which told the game whether the player was in the room or not, and then I stopped the timer that closed the door once the player enters the shop. And guess what? It worked first try. No bugs, no unintended consequences, flawless, first time. The animation for the door isn't going to win any awards, but we can always fix that later. Something that I noticed while playtesting is I was getting soft locked due to running out of ammo. Right now, I just added an ammo purchase machine, which I had already made previously, but I think that I will add a knife mechanic later on in development, because you can still get soft lock if you run out of ammo while not being able to afford a resupply. I made sure to place them in places that weren't blocked by doors that you needed to purchase, and I also made it so that the price to refill your ammo depended on which gun you were refilling. I've also been working on art and filling out the areas, which I will show you in the next devlog, but for gameplay, this is all I could add for now. Remember that if you want any updates in my game as they happen, you can join my Discord, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe so I have a chance to be picked up by the algorithm. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.